Alright, welcome to this game between Cruz, that's me, and Zach McCracken from the 600 points tournament. Usually, Warband lists only have 500 points, but in this tournament we upped the limit to 600 to see if that could bring out any new and interesting lists. And this time, that has allowed me to put some banners on Fury for that +1 power on the charge on my Darkborn riders, and add an extra chariot to my Darkborn Assassin list. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Darkborn Assassin does, basically is a hidden fighter. He hits real hard, he hits real good, but then the opponent doesn't know which unit he is in until the first combat. And that basically turns this game into a bit of a mind game for me and my opponent, because the assassin is one of two units that is going to be able to do damage to my opponent's abyssal armor units. Because my opponent has gone for a 7-unit abyssal armor list with knights and 2 chariots, both having abyssal armor and high base armor, and my list does a lot of low power damage, meaning he's gonna have a lot of 2-up saves. Maybe I get lucky, maybe I just get destroyed. But hopefully, if I do good, I'll be able to get my assassin into those important fights and, well, pick him off. So, I have deployed my assassin on the middle unit of raiders, hoping that let it get into the fights easier. As the first turn is panning out, I find that I want to get some shots off of those dogs, and I am rewarded picking off 2 of them. Suddenly, the chariot charging into the dogs becomes very favorable for me, compared to taking an honest chariot on 5 dogs fight, which is very 50-50. Now I move my harpies in to a position where I feel they will be safe before I move my final raiders and my chariot, because with the extra movement that the Darkborn chariot has, it is possible for me to actually get a charge on an enemy chariot without getting charged back, and that is a massive advantage. Managed to pick off another dog. Zach moves his abyssal chariot forward, but not into charge range. Yes, he is hoping to find an even better position with his numerical advantage next turn. I move my riders forward, get some shots off on the Abyssal Knights, hoping to get lucky and do another wound. I don't, so currently that fight is gonna be very favorable for him, but he dodges it, probably thinking my assassin is on that unit. Turn 2 charges. Not much, I could charge my harpies in, but that does not seem like a good idea at all. He has a hidden charge there into my spearman, which I decide not to take, thinking I should be able to get a better flank or similar. Now you can see how his charge didn't leave him stranded in the middle of my units there, because he had his unit behind his units, basically stopping him. Learning how to do that is a skill that is very important. Alright, my opponent had first move because I managed to take last move by fleeing from his chariot, part of my motivation for doing it. So he quickly moved his dogs out of the way so they couldn't get sniped by my riders. My spearman fleeing off the objective, of course, led to him now having control of it. As it's the second turn, that means he will be netting points for it. Get 4 hits on the knights, but as expected, they shrug it off with their abyssal armor. And, I would not have shot the knights if it wasn't for the fact that I got lucky and picked up 1 on them. But my thinking is, if I can pick off 1 knight, then suddenly that rider on knight fights becomes more 50-50 than it is currently. Alright, I decide to move my chariot forward. Get a shot on those dogs. I do not kill one. My thinking here is that if he wants to charge that chariot with his chariot, I'll be able to flee and should be able to pick off the chariot as it's then stuck. I once again move my riders on this side before he moves his knights, positioning myself, and they save again. By this point I'm getting frustrated. I should not have put so much resources into shooting these darn knights. Could have picked off a lot of Northmen meanwhile. Alright, he positions himself to charge my chariot. I position myself to shoot at the chariot. Why not keep shooting on the 2+ saves units? But I do get lucky and add a wound to it. As Abyssal Knights once again moving away from the raiders. So I guess Zach is convinced the assassin is on in the left unit of raiders. It has to be in one of the unit of Darkborn riders. So. Alright, not much happening during turn 2. Zach gets 50 points and a side charge. I get a side charge on his knights, which he decides to take. Because why would he run his knights off the map for free? I also flee my chariot. No, overall, all in all, I'm quite happy with this. Alright, so those harpies hit with power 5. So it's gonna be 50-50 on them. So should we get at least, like, on average, 2.5 wounds on those knights. Good stuff. I move my riders position to rare charge that chariot and get some shots off on the hounds. And I get rewarded. The hounds are no more. So even though I gifted him 50 points on the objective, I made it up by shooting 55 points of hounds. And I rally. Alright, Zach. Wanting to punish my harpies by rare charging them. Fair enough. I, on the other hand, am using my spearmen, positioning them in just out of charge range of those Northmen, so I can get a charge on him without him getting a charge back on me. This is actually the way to use Elven Spears. Just don't put them too close to your opponent. Put them so that you can charge them, and then you have the to-hit advantage while the fight is even when it comes to power and armor. The Rangers. Shadows get 2 wounds on the unit, which is good. Weakens them so they're less of a threat than killing the much more valuable shadows. Here we can see me moving my raiders in front of the Northmen, continuing to weaken the Northmen that are going to get charged by the shadows. And my plan here is simply to block him from back charging the harpies next round. Like, sure, we get a fair face-on-face fight with the Northmen, and then the harpies whiff completely and lose the combat. Luckily for me, the harpies hold, because I would have been destroyed by the back charge of those Abyssal Knights. Alright, turn 4 starts. Zach is up by 100 points on the objective. And I managed to intercept his Northmen. Now that was part of my positioning, because I didn't want him to side charge my chariot, so by intercepting I can now charge his Northmen with my spearmen. So it's all going according to plan. I charge his chariot with my riders, and he runs away, and at this point I'm like, oh no, my major piece, the assassin, is gonna get stuck in a rock for multiple turns. Because sometimes that happens. my shadows do get on to charge his Northmen, but they're not going to get an objective. Currently, it's looking pretty good, except for the fact that those Abyssal Knights are going to demolish. Unlucky of my opponent, failing the rally on that chariot. So those Abyssal Knights are gonna demolish those Harpies, like, no doubt. The Packleader triggers the Howl, giving all the Northmen unit peerless for 1 round, which is good for him, but then again, they can still run. Like, they have decent discipline, but it's not amazing. Like, there is a chance that if they lose combats, they run. Alright, Chariot shoots. Chariot gets a wound on it. I feel his Abyssal armor has been lacking. I managed to get 2 wounds with his Knights, and he only hits 4 back, but I still lose by 1. But the Harpies hold again, so luck is giving back here. Oh, that's a terrible save by my riders. But at least they draw even. In the middle here, 2, 4 hits back. I do win this one. Do they run? No, they hold. And here the shadows, 12, only 4 hits. That is really unlucky. And 6 hits bad, but the saves coming clutch for me. And they run. So currently, I'm very happy here. Zach decides to side charge my shadows instead of taking a chariot on chariot fight. I decide to flee because why would I take that? I send my chariot into the Abyssal Knights, hoping that it's gonna be enough oomph in that charge to break him. Alright, so what does the battlefield look like? If I can get my raiders into the side of the Packleader, all is good. The riders should win against the Northmen. Chariot should do good against them. It's looking pretty good, and it fails a second rally on that chariot. That's very unlucky for him. And luckily for me, I managed to get in range to charge the side of the Packleader. Finally getting some assassin action and doing an extra wound on the chariot. Alright, Harpies. 3 wounds on the Abyssal Knights. That is crazy. But they take 3 wounds back. And the chariot whiffs completely. Knights, they hold. I guess it's fair. My aim is holding very well. Another rider goes down. And they lose by 2. That is painful. And they run. Dice all over the place this game. Alright, Spearman. 2 wounds in. They're not losing this one. Okay, they win by 2. That should send these guys running. And they do it. So it's turn 6 now. I got 50 points off the objective. Zach has gotten 100. And it's looking like it's going to stay that way. The question is, will I be able to save enough points to win this game? It's looking pretty good. I did have already gotten his Abyssal Knights to half, so I guess it's looking... it's looking good. But that chariot, I mean, chariots can hold for an impressive amount of time. Alright, Northmen rally. Darkborn Riders rally. There's a lot of rallying this game now. Second unit of Northmen rallies. Shadows trying to find an angle. Does find an angle to shoot. The Northmen, just killing 2 of them would be enough. Killing 1 of them, enough to weaken them a bit more. Alright. Packleader uses pack tactics on his Northmen, ensuring that chariot is going to go down, and I choose to use Potion of Power for the extra attack instead of double wounds against the Packleader. Harpy goes down. Abyssal Knights laugh at the puny attacks against it. And my chariot loses by 4. Not good. It runs. It stays on the map though, which is very lucky for me. 4 hits. Packleader is down. It does 3 hits back though, but a lucky save from the assassin keeps her alive. 2 wounds on the Abyssal Chariot. Alright. Chariot runs. Final turn. Charging. There's only 1 wound left on that chariot now. I decide to side flank the Northmen for the extra points, hoping to be able to snipe the chariot with the shadows and the riders. It's not point maximizing choices. And I get lucky. My assassins riders stay in shooting range of that Abyssal Chariot. Even get a little lucky pickoff. Alright, so at this point the game is won. The question is, how won is it? Now, of course, I know, playing this game, that Fuzzy already has clinched the tournament with more than 1,000 points lead to the second place, so this is all for the glory, I guess. As the game wraps up with a win of game that is very back and forth. I was sure I'd lost the game when my Harpies failed the side charge on the Knights. Zack hiding his units in the forest, trying to keep them alive. Any one of them going down would mean a loss of points, so makes sense that he would do that. And they miss. So there you have it, a game with mind games and assassins. Hope you enjoyed the cast, and I'll see you in the next video.